Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I'm your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start the show off the same way we start every show off, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing a million other things with your time, so the fact that you spend it with us truly does mean the world to me, so thank you. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cutting, me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right, and we're back. I'm excited about this guest. He's a returning guest. You guys don't know this, but we should have just turned the cameras on about like an hour ago because we've just been chatting. So you're just coming in now, but this conversation has been going on for a bit. So on that note, I don't introduce my guests. I let them do that themselves. So, sir, can you please tell everybody at home who you are and what you're about?
Sure. Good day, everybody. It's Bob MacKay. I'm the market manager for Superior Propane here in Fort McMurray. Also a proud granddad. I got two wonderful grandchildren and a little family here all in Fort Mac. Loving living here, man.
There you go. I've got a question.
Sure.
I had one question that I wanted to ask you outside of the conversation we're having.
Sure.
I know nothing about propane. The only thing I know about propane is I have to get it for my barbecue. That's it.
That's like a lot of people.
That's all I know about propane.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it today when I was like, okay, Bob's coming on. We've chatted a bit. I need to ask him something about propane. Mm-hmm. What use does propane have in the winter? I have to assume it's a year-round thing, but I'm not buying any for my barbecue in the winter, so I have no need for it. What are some needs in the winter for propane?
Yeah, so a lot of people, it's funny, I have people say to me, so your busiest time must be in the summer. Mm-hmm. Actually, the summer's our slowest time.
Really?
It's because you think about it, everybody gets their 20-pound cylinder like you have in your barbecue. And
that's right.
You sell a few of that, but primarily what we do here in Fort McMurray is 100% heat. There is restaurants, what have you, like for instance the A&W in Fort MacKay.
Yeah,
we provide the propane for them, so they do all their burners and stuff, and all the way they fry your burgers up. That's us. So,
okay.
But the propane we use up here primarily is for heat. January-ish, when the ice road gets up to Fort Chip. This time last year, I think it was around 770,000 liters of propane we delivered there last year.
Wow.
So and that's all for their homes because they don't have natural gas up there. Oh. So we brought it all in, trucked it all in till the very end.
Okay.
And, so the camps, you may see your Civio camps. Mm-hmm. Other than the big camps like that there, we provide all the propane for their heat. So yeah, that's a huge thing, a big part of our business.
Interesting.
Even down the Casman Center down there where they're doing Casman construction, I should say, down at Mac Island.
Yeah.
For the Métis Center.
Yeah.
That's us. We provide all the propane for their heaters.
Okay. Interesting. See, coming from Fort McMurray and Alberta, mm-hmm. I made the assumption that, everybody's on natural gas. And I remember when I used to be a recruiter and I travel around the East Coast all the time, you had Irving Oil.
Oh, yeah.
And Irving is delivering gas to like every house in the East Coast because they don't have those natural gas lines picked in or plumbed in. So I knew that was a industry in Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, PI, so on and so forth. Yeah. But I never knew that about Fort McMurray. I just assumed everybody was on natural gas.
Well, here's a huge thing. Draper Road, no natural gas.
Really?
Every home on Draper Road is heated by propane.
Oh.
And Tower Road, too, where the horse
ranches.
Same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so that's what you do with propane. Because I'm like the average guy you talked about.
Yeah.
Man, you guys must be so slow. I'm not making burgers.
Yeah. No, our average is like in July, we probably sell about 800,000 liters. In January of last year, we did 6.2 million liters.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about before, and I like to talk about this topic of conversation. I don't get to do it very often, so we were just talking about hiring employees and like the stories, and we're not going to tell all the stories.
No.
They're not all good. No. But if what are you guys looking for right now? Are you looking for employees? And if you are, what's the criteria people should have when they come in?
We're always looking for good people. That's the thing. No matter what, like we had kind of a level of stress, you may say, in September, October. That's generally the time we bring on what we call our seasonal drivers. Mm-hmm. Again, because it speaks to it. So we almost triple the size of our staffing in the wintertime because of the volume.
That's right.
But with the extended season, we rely a lot of times people work, say, one of the local construction companies, mm-hmm. and they tend to get laid off maybe end of September, beginning of October. That didn't happen this year.
Right.
So that caused a real, what are we going to do here? So a lot of them we weren't getting them until, quite frankly, the end of October.
Okay.
One thing with delivering propane, and no disrespect to any other truck driver out there, but there is a lot of training. And it is not anything to do with the driving.
Yeah.
There's a significant amount of handling training. And altogether, just for Superior Propane, there's over 32 courses.
Yeah.
And then for this other company called Petroleum, or this requirement is Petroleum Training Institute, which is 3 different courses they got to take. So all in all, before a guy, from the day to start, before he even turns a tire, is 3 to 4 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an intensive training process.
It is heavy duty.
Because like, that's nuts. Because I know like for oil and gas, just because of H2S, fall protection, all that kind of stuff, like I would try to shrink it down, but you're looking at a minimum of 7 days. Minimum. And that, and sometimes longer. And in oil and gas, we're like, that's long. Like, how can we shorten this down? Yeah, that's a very extensive training process.
Like, you think of the big picture. Like I'm one of these guys that I don't know, and I look at things I think, and I know myself. If I was somebody who didn't know anything about propane, and I seen this yellow truck driving through downtown,
that's right.
I want to know that guy behind the wheel.
That's right.
Is competent and knows what he's doing. Yeah. Right? Because and not to scare anybody, but it's carrying a flammable, volatile.
That's fluid. Right. It could go boom.
Yeah, and the reality of it is, quite frankly,
There's 2 ways to say that: the professional way and the go boom way.
Yeah. But I mean, like I say, it's just that. But like that's one of the things we make sure, even into the part where we get them on the road, when we put them with one of our trainers, I don't say, "Okay, Elliot, you're ready to go." You say, "Bob, I'm ready to go." So because it's like, I mean, it's again, it's not a terrifying thing once you understand the science behind propane. It's yes, it's dangerous, but I mean, you get used to it, right?
Get used to it, yeah. Just like my last, I gotta say, real job, I guess. My last real job, when I used to work for Acuren. Acuren deals with radiation. They do non-destructive testing. And so I think most individuals, like, they have sources, like radiation sources there. And I think the average individual, and you're like, oh, radiation, they get a little bit nervous. But then once you get trained and you find out about it and like how you work around it, how you work safely, it's like anything. You just kind of, it is what it is. But yeah, the general consumer, the general public, when they hear certain things, like,
oh, absolutely. Like, it's just a matter of fact, I just had a meeting with CNOOC or Nexon down in Anzac there. Yeah. And they here's a refinery, and they weren't up on all the safety features that we have. Yeah. They were building a whole emergency measures program around when we go to site.
Right.
And when I give them the full list of all the safety features on this truck, I'll tell you, it's pretty hard for something to go wrong.
Yeah. That's cool. Now, let's talk about something personal on your behalf.
Sure.
You have a place down south where you like to hang out, you chill at.
Wandering River, yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking a few days ago, I'm like, I wonder what Bob does with that in the winter.
Miss it a lot.
Yeah. Because you have like a whole setup. So like, do you strip everything down? Like, what does this look like? What's the winterization process?
It's funny. For probably the last 3 weeks of the camping season, I am doing a major amount of reinforcement. Like, we're going everything there. And I was actually, like I mentioned to you, I was in BC this weekend, and on the way back, I was actually going to swing in, but I was a little long on the day, so I just kept on trucking by. So I'm probably going to roll down this weekend and check everything. But no, a lot of reinforcement, a lot of building up, a lot of preparation. Because nothing worse. We had a winter probably was 3-4 years ago. We went back, and needless to say, a mice colony made a home in our camper.
Oh no!
Yeah, that wasn't pretty.
Game over.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was gross, man. It was gross. So anyway, we get it so that doesn't happen anymore, but it's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because I was thinking about it, because you have like, for the people at home, you've never seen the picture probably, but you have like a beautiful setup, indoor, outdoor.
Yeah. Huge covered, we call it a party zone.
That's right.
Yeah, I got a big bar in it. We got donair makers. We got griddles. We get the whole,
So I was like,
set up.
This is a massive undertaking to get it set up. I wonder if you've got to take all of this down. And if so, like, do you store so you winterize everything and then you go check on it throughout the winter.
Make a time,
Okay. Yeah. Did you have a good summer there?
You know, it was an awesome summer. It was one of those things that's, I tell you, when you leave and then you put the padlock on the gate, it is literally like but then you look at your watch and you go, hey, wait a minute now. We're only 5 months away.
That's right. That's right.
And literally every day, almost every weekend goes by, you say to yourself, it's only 3 more months,
That's right.
And then it's just literally like I'm not a big COVID talker because I find it's over-talked in the industry and the news and everything.
Yep.
But that truly, I can tell you, man, I think that has done more for my family's sanity. Literally have that escape, because we go down there, we listen to our own program music, we have a big blaring sound system down there. We play anything, country, whatever, rock and roll. And we don't listen to the news down there. It is literally our escape.
That's right.
Go down and play a few rounds of golf or whatever like that.
Yeah.
There. But yeah, it's definitely a piece that really helped us through everything that's happened over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, you're fortunate to have somewhere else to go.
Yeah.
I know, like when COVID first started, I had an office in town, and well, I didn't need the office per se. I can do what I do from my house for the most part. But I'm telling you, the fact that like when I had like a little guy running around and MacKay was still at home doing her thing, I was like, thank goodness I have somewhere else to go.
Yeah.
Not everybody has somewhere else to go, and you're stuck in like your house with all of the distractions as we talked about earlier. Like it's tough to get anything done or get any form of mental clarity.
That's you and I were chatting about meditating. You guys to go into our previous talk before the show.
Yeah.
And that fire, when you have a campfire going, man, you sit there just staring into the fire.
Right.
It is like a high-powered shop vac.
Yeah.
To clean all the stuff out. You know what I mean? And it just, I would come away from there on a Monday. I come back to work so refreshed. I'm like, okay, here's how we're dealing with stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
it's a crazy thing about a fire. I don't know, like that's primal, but like, yeah, when you get a fire, you just start looking. It's impossible to have a bad time looking at a fire.
Yeah.
Like,
it truly is.
If you look too close, it can be a bad time.
Oh yeah, I guess if you get too close.
Yeah, the eyebrows, little singe.
Yeah. All right, Tanner just pointed out his phone. That means his questions are ready. So
Yep.
you know what it is. It's time for the Mac City Minute. Tanner, hit him with the Mac City Minute.
Question number 1. Why is the company you work for truly superior?
It's in the name, and because I work there.
Yeah. There you go. Love it.
Question number 2. What is one thing people would be surprised you can use propane for?
For cooling.
Cooling.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Yeah.
Question number 3. What is your favorite part of being a grandparent in the same place you raised your own children?
It just that's a very long answer, but it's just, man, this community is so amazing, and just knowing that my grandkids are going to grow up in this and experience everything there is about Fort Mac, like right from the indigenous experience to the land to the woods to I don't know, like it's just I could go on for probably an hour. There's so many things here for sure.
Question number 4. What is your favorite part of getting to work within the smaller communities in Wood Buffalo?
Get to know the people. Like that's one of the things I did last year when the White Ice Roads first opened. I made it a point to go to Fort Chip, and I went up there just to meet with the folks. And I joked to some people, it was almost like an ice cream truck driving into town because people were like, "Oh my God, the propane guys here!" Yeah. But just getting to know the people, I absolutely love it, man. That's one of my biggest things.
Cool.
And your final question: What is your favorite part of bringing heat to so many different places?
Favorite part of bringing heat, it goes back to the people thing because there's so much interaction, and like I say, our clients are diverse. We have people that maybe consume 1,000 liters, or somebody that consumes 1 million. Okay, but they're all for the same purpose, right? Yeah. So yeah,
those have been your 5 questions.
Had you ever been to Fort Chip prior to?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
It's amazing. Like and the cool thing is when winter, I flew over it. I've been to, I did a fishing trip one time. I went up to that Indian Head Resort, that's way up north in Athabasca Lake there.
Yeah.
And but it's so many things. Like when somebody you hear all the stories about Fort Chip, and it's almost you don't know what to expect. So when you get there, your mind is kind of preloaded with other people's thoughts,
That's
and
right.
You get there and it's like this is a cool little town.
Yeah, my mom's been going up for years, and so she always like, Ellie, do you need to go? You need to go. I'm like, yeah. And it wasn't until I was an adult, I was in my 30s, and I went out during the winter. Driving on the ice roads, for one, was such an experience. And at the time, I remember a component that I was at, there was guys poking holes. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, why are they doing that? They're like, oh, you got to get some water to like enforce it. I'm just like, all right, if you say so. So, and then like when you drive across, like the guy I was with, he'd put down the windows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you putting down the windows? It's freezing cold outside. He's like, hey, just in case it like cracks, you got to jump out and like live. I'm like, what have I got myself into?
Yep.
And it was fine. And I've been up a few times since. But then so that's an experience, a great experience if you go with the right people. But then when you get there, talk about beautiful. From like the scenery to the people. Yeah. Unreal.
Yeah. So, last year I took one of the guys that with me for his first trip. And I learned very quickly, don't look in your mirrors. Just keep going.
Okay.
And so anyway, he looked in the side view mirror and saw a little bit of water wash across the road. Bob was like, look forward.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That's too funny. Yeah, I know it's beautiful, but I haven't, and I hear it's equally as beautiful, but in a completely different way. I haven't made it up there into the summer.
Me neither. No,
But I hear the summers are something else.
Yeah, we have actually a big project going on that's required by the government. We got over 100, I think it's 192 tanks we have to swap out of Fort Chip over the next 2 years.
Okay.
Because of mostly the age of the tanks. So we got to swap them all out. So we're going to have staff up there in the summertime as well.
Nice.
So I am going to take the opportunity this year coming to fly up and check it all out.
Well, if you need anybody to like carry your suitcases or something.
Hey, if you want a road trip in the wintertime, and I should, brother, you're more than welcome to jump in the truck and come along, man.
Hey, I'll take you up on that one. So you were also saying, this is why I love the Mac City Minute, because it just like gives me tons of ideas to talk about. Propane can cool. How is propane cooling anything?
Well, propane, a lot of people don't realize. So when you get propane in your tank of your barbecue, it's actually a liquid. It's not. Everybody thinks it's a gas going. It's a liquid that vaporizes, and you burn the vapor.
Okay.
But the propane chills at -40. It actually boils at -40. Oh. So like a lot of times, if you especially your RVs, you'll see on the switch on your fridge.
Okay.
And you can either go to electric or on propane. So the propane actually is like just like any kind of chilling agent, like any one of the ones that are Freon. You always hear the different ones. It acts as the same as those. It's a cooling agent, so it actually keeps your fridge cold because the liquid goes through the lines and it cools everything.
Interesting. See, things you never know.
Things you never know.
It's one of those, like, this is why I love doing this show. There's so many things on, like, when you go to school, you learn math, social, science, English, and you have some electives. And then you meet with your counselors, and they tell you about some of the job opportunities that are out there that they're aware of.
Yeah.
And guidance counselors are awesome. I'm not knocking them. But they can't know about every single industry and, like, based on your skill set. And so, like, when people come on the show, and based on my previous career as a recruiter, human resources too, like, there's so many cool opportunities and jobs that are out there that I think the majority of people have no idea about.
Yeah, like for instance, this year coming 2022, I've been given in my budget 2 apprentice roles as a propane gas fitter.
Right.
So you can go to school and you take a gas fitter trade at school.
Yeah.
There's like maybe a chapter on propane. And they are so different, the 2 items, natural gas versus propane.
Right.
Just from the pressures they run at and all the different components to it.
Yeah.
So to find somebody who's actually knowledgeable in propane gas fitting is hard. So one of the guys I have working for me right now in our tool crib, I'm pushing him along a little bit there. Young man, 20 years old. I said, look, I'd like to get you into the gas fitter trade, propane.
Yeah.
And he's all for it. So like that's what I mean. You're 100% right, man. There's so many cool things out there that you really just don't know, right?
I have this one buddy who he works for an organization. I'm not even going to try to say what this is called, but basically they have to test fire alarms, like smoke alarms and stuff. And I'm just like, what? And I was like, is that a thing? He's like, yeah. I was like, you go into people's houses and you check their alarms? He's like, no. He's like, apartments, buildings. And his company had like a contract to do all of the downtown arena of Rexall.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's like, you got to go. You need to install all of these. There's electrical work. And he's like, but then like it's government mandated that you have to test these alarms to make sure like these buildings are like up to code. And so if there is a fire, that the alarms work. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of like non-destructive testing, NDT. Like nobody knows what NDT is, but like it's government mandated that you have to do it.
Yeah.
And like both of those, NDT and testing fire and propane, like you're not going to get that information talking to a guidance counselor.
No.
They're just not going to know. And it's not because they're bad people. They just don't know.
I remember when I was in high school, I talked to my guidance counselor because I want to be that guy that tested cars.
Tested cars.
Oh yeah, you see BMW over and you see them on the test tracks and stuff. So
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, that was my goal. I said, man, I got to figure out a way. I got to get that job. These guys is driving these cars full out, hammered into the corners,
right?
And they get paid. I'm like,
yeah.
How does that happen?
Yeah. How does it happen?
I don't know.
Did you go down that rabbit hole?
Guidance counselor never helped me out at all.
Oh man. Well, I go talk to kids every once in a while, and like it's about like at the high school level prior to COVID, and I'm like, depending on what you want to do, you got to think out of the box.
Yeah.
So the one thing that almost everybody puts on their, I get them to write down, what do you want to do with your free time? What are you passionate about? Try to find a job that like you like doing. And more often than not, people always put down traveling. I love to travel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's lots of jobs that pay you to travel.
Tremendous.
And they're just like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, I was a recruiter. And then they're like, okay. I was like, I got to see all of Canada and a lot of America on somebody else's dime. Like they paid me to travel. Like you could go work on a cruise ship. You could be a flight attendant, like
Truck driver.
Truck driver.
Yeah.
There you go. Like if you want to travel, like you might not go to the destination that you're thinking in your head, like a Rome or whatever. But like if you just want to actually get out and see something different and travel, there's a lot of things out there. You just need to be like a little bit thoughtful about it. And
You can be a producer for a morning show.
yeah, that's right. You can be a producer for a morning show. We got to travel every once in a while, right? So yeah, no, like what you're like. That's why I like having different people on in different industries.
Yeah.
Because I think now people can watch this and be like, hey, that might be something I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, exactly, man. Like, we may inspire somebody out there today.
There you go.
To be the propane gas fitter guy.
There you go. So on that note, we're done. I know we're over the time already because I got the watch tap a few minutes ago. But before I let you go, Bob, everybody gets a shameless shout out or plug. The lights are on you, the camera's on you, the mic's on you. Have fun.
I'd say the biggest thing I want to give a shout out for is right now we're involved a lot with the community and just the piece around Santa's Anonymous. That's an amazing charity to help with. Right now we're working on a campaign here for the clothing for the Hope Cottage or the what's it called again? The Hope
Center of Hope.
Center of Hope. Yeah, brain just went dead for a sec.
But
yeah, no, we're doing the winter drive for that. The Sub-Zero. They're working with Cruise 100.5 on that. I'll just take a second, folks. This is a time of year where really you look at yourself, focus, and there's a way you can give back. Do it. Just take that 5 minutes, maybe look in the closet or whatever. Just do something for the community. It'll make you feel so amazing.
There you go. Great shout out. All right, well, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, the rest of the world, that's been another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It does mean the world to me. I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.